Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Jenny. So as you probably already read from the title, in today's video I'm gonna be reviewing the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. So let's just get into it. So as always, I like to give you some information in regards to the product. So I actually picked up my Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation today at Ulta. I believe it is only available at Ulta already, and it is going to be available on Sephora and other stores starting on August 15. So I'm not sure why they didn't have just one launching date, but that's that. So it retails for $38 and it is available on 50 shades between fair, light, medium, tan, and deep, which I think it's great. They also have neutral, cool, and warm undertones, so I think that is very helpful. I don't even know how in the past I used to select shades of foundations without even knowing the undertone because makeup brands did not list it, and nowadays that I know my undertone, it is so much easier to find the right shade. I think more makeup brands definitely should continue to do that because it's just easier, especially with so many options. But that is one thing. And I want to mention to you guys that if you are struggling to find your shade, you can actually go on the Anastasia's website, and let's say you're on light, medium, or whatever your case is, you can actually go to this section right here and it will list what each shade is per se. The one that I selected today, you will see that I am using the shade 330W, and that is a medium skin with a warm yellow undertone. So every single shade, it's gonna have the full description on what, undertone, if it's cool, neutral, or warm. So definitely check that out. That made it so much easier for me to be able to select a shade. And these are some of the claims from the foundation. It's supposed to be water resistant, long wearing with medium coverage. It gives you a fresh, radiant, and lightweight finish that is supposed to feel like a second skin. It's supposed to mask discoloration, unevenness, and blotchiness, and there's no flashback. And what else? Suitable for all skin types, including sensitive skin. It is cruelty free and vegan. It also says that it looks good on its own, so you don't need to set it with powder. I think that was crazy for me to see it because I know that some people definitely need to set their foundation. I personally only set my T-zone and obviously concealer, but definitely it's a very promising foundation. And of course, I have to mention the packaging. I actually really like that they included a glass bottle. That's just me. I think it makes it feel more luxurious. It does come with a pump, and I feel like by now every single foundation should have a pump. That is great. I don't know if I like that it says foundation in big on the back, but I mean, I guess it goes with the aesthetic of the bottle. So I personally really like the packaging, and it does have 1.0 fluid ounces, so that it's pretty much a standard for foundations nowadays. And I think that's everything that I have to say in regards to the foundations. So let's go ahead and move on to the try on portion of the video so that you can see how it actually applies. Alright, so my skin is prepped. I did my regular skincare routine, and I also used my Marc Jacobs Coconut Perfecting Primer just because I love that primer, and every time that I am trying out a new foundation, I don't like to mix new products just so that we can really test it out. So the shade that I'm using today is 330W, and let me tell you what that is. So that is medium skin with a warm yellow undertone. I will say that I originally wanted to get 332C, which is medium skin with a cool golden undertone, just because I normally tend to go more golden than yellow, but it wasn't in stock, and this is the closest to that one, and I did test it out at the store, so I think it's gonna be a good match. Let's hope that it works out. So I'm gonna apply the foundation with this beauty sponge that I have from Elsie Cosmetics on this half of my face, and I'm gonna use a Sigma flat kabuki F80 makeup brush on this side of my face. I'm gonna first just dot it everywhere, and then I'm gonna blend out both sides with each of the tools that I mentioned. So the formula in this foundation is not as runny and liquidy as I expected it. It barely even moves on the tray. I was just under the impression, because it is a luminous foundation, that it was going to be a little bit more thin and liquidy, but we'll see now how it applies on the skin. So far, I really like the finish. It does not feel heavy at all. It actually feels super light on my skin. I don't even feel like I'm wearing foundation on this side. I do like the finish. It is definitely a very light to medium coverage. You can see a lot of my imperfections, like a little bit of my redness here, and also my veins on this area right below my eye. So this is not going to be a full coverage, which they don't claim at all. They actually claim that it's a medium coverage. And I do agree that it does look like a second skin. So now that we blended out this side, let's go ahead and move on to the other side. And I'm going to use the makeup brush. And just as expected, I think I do have more coverage with the makeup brush as opposed to using the beauty sponge. But overall, I really like the finish. I think you can definitely apply this foundation with a beauty sponge or a makeup brush. It all depends on your preference. But I will say that I personally want more coverage. I think for an everyday foundation, I will stop it right here and just apply concealer, and maybe I will be good. But if you're going to be using this foundation for a night out or for a more special event, maybe I will use a second coat, which I will try it in a second, just to see and test out how this foundation builds up on the skin. But I wanted to definitely give you my thoughts on just one simple layer. So I do like it, but it does not really cover up all of your imperfections. I don't think I have a lot of bad things on my skin, but I definitely see a little bit of my redness peeking through over here on my cheek, and also this vein right here. It's still pretty visible. I know that I haven't applied concealer yet, so we'll see at the end once we have a full face, but those are my thoughts at this moment. So let me go ahead and apply a second layer just to see how it builds up. I am using a little bit of the foundation on my eyelids just to cover up my discoloration there. I didn't do that with the first layer, but you definitely see that it evened out my skin tone better. I'm still going to use the makeup brush on the other side. Alright, so this is what the foundation looks like with a second coat. I did use 2 full pumps with the second layer. Let me do a close-up so that you can see it better. So the finish on this foundation is beautiful, you guys. I personally really love how lightweight it feels on my skin. It does look like a second skin. It does not feel heavy at all. It doesn't emphasize any texture. You can see a little bit of my pores, but that's just natural. I actually really like the finish. It does give me a radiance to my skin, but it's not over dewy in my opinion, which I actually really like. The only thing that I will say is that I do prefer the 2 layers, because with 1 layer I don't think it was enough coverage for me, and I don't consider my skin to be problematic at all. So that's one thing to note. I'm just going to be applying some concealer on camera so that we can use a little bit of powder to set the foundation. I'm just going to be using my Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer. This is just the concealer that I have been using non-stop recently. I really like the formula. Alright, so I just applied my concealer, and now I'm gonna set it. I know that they came out with a setting powder, but I personally didn't buy it. I'm gonna be using my Laura Mercier loose setting powder. I know that it never fails me, so we're gonna be using that. And I personally pretty much only set my concealer I don't need to set my entire face. I do get oily on my T-zone, so that is the only area where I am gonna set the foundation. But ABH actually does claim on their website that you can wear this foundation alone without setting it with powder. If you are somebody that gets oily, then maybe you do want to definitely set it. I personally don't really set my entire face regardless, so it doesn't really matter for me, but I will set my T-zone just because that's where I get oily. But now that we pretty much finished our complexion, let me go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup. I'm gonna do something on the eyes and just finish up my makeup, and I will be right back with my final thoughts. So I am back. I finished with the rest of my makeup, and can you guys just take a look at this eye look that I just created? I absolutely love it. I am obsessed with the colors, and I actually use this eyeshadow palette that it's from the makeup brand Real Her, and this is their Conquer from Within eyeshadow palette. You're not ready for this, but look at this stunning eyeshadows. I love these colors. If you're into pinks and purples, you're definitely gonna love this eyeshadow palette. And I actually use a couple more of their products. I use their Keep Going highlighter, and this is what it looks like. Oops, this is what it looks like on the pen. It's actually so beautiful. I am wearing it right now, so it's definitely very blinding, very intense, but it's very beautiful. And I also use their liquid lipstick in the shade I Decide My Destiny. As you can see, it's a beautiful pinky mauve tone, and I love this makeup brand because they create products that empower women. Every single one of their products has a uplifting message. Like for example, the eyeshadow palette, it's called Conquer From Within, the highlighter Keep It Going, and also the liquid lipstick I Decide My Destiny. So I absolutely love every single one of their products that I have tried out so far, and I am actually an ambassador for their makeup brand, so I do have a discount code. So I'll make sure to leave all of the details down in the description box. So if you're interested in checking out this brand, go ahead and check the description box down below. I know you're not gonna regret it. And also, if you want to see how I created this eye makeup look, make sure to follow me on my Instagram because I did film it. So I'm gonna create a IG tutorial, so follow me so that you know and watch it when I upload it. But now let's go back to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation review. So I think now that I have a full face of makeup, I love it even more than what I did when I first applied it. I love the finish of this foundation, you guys. I think more than anything, I like that it feels so lightweight and it looks very natural. The finish is definitely luminous, but it's not too dewy. And I personally have a combination skin type, like I said, so I really enjoy that formula. It's not drying at all, and it doesn't emphasize any texture on my face. It feels really nice, and it actually worked out great with everything else that I use on my face. The only downside that I find from this foundation is that I had to do 2 coats of the foundation in order for me to get my desired coverage. So if you're somebody who really needs a full coverage foundation, or if you have a lot of things to just cover up, maybe this is not the foundation for you. But if you look for a more natural finish, light to medium coverage foundation, then this is a really great foundation. I personally really love it for that. Another thing I will say is that I have combination skin type, so for me the formula is perfect. I find that just setting my T-zone, I'm fine. I did not apply any powder around my face, so I am good in that sense. But if you're somebody who has really oily skin, then maybe you should test it out first, just because it is a little bit more hydrating than other matte foundations. So that's just something to note. But I personally love the finish. I think the color actually was a good match for my skin tone. Definitely this is gonna be probably my new everyday foundation, just because I really like the formula. Oh, actually, before, let's do a flashback test. Okay, let's turn my flash on and let's do a quick selfie. Okay, so I don't think it gives you a flashback. It actually looks really good. I'm just gonna put the picture here in the screen so that you can see it better. But yeah, that's great. It passes that test. So I think that's everything I have to say from this foundation. So definitely, if you're a fan of Anastasia and you want a natural finish luminous foundation that it is not heavy on the skin, I think that is definitely one foundation to try out. I hope that this review was helpful for you guys, so don't forget to like this video if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.